Hello everyone, welcome to my first reviews of 2026. If you're new, every month I like to wrap up everything I've read, seen, listened to, etc. And review it, essentially. This month we've got a couple of movies, a couple of TV shows, a couple of books, a couple of shows, and some other things as well, so let's jump right into it. To begin with, there was a new Now You See Me movie, which I haven't seen yet, but Wayne hadn't seen either of the other two, so we watched the first and the second, and they were both really, really good. I remember the first quite well. The second one I think I only saw once when it came out, so I'd forgotten a lot. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Great series, and I can't wait to watch the third now. But unfortunately, by the time we finished watching the first two, it was no longer showing in cinemas, so we'll see what we have to do. And then onto the third film of the month, which is Over the Hedge. This is a movie that I've never seen, but we had a DVD. I can't remember if it was Flushed Away or Baas in Eigen Bos, or which I'm sure is also another English name, but I don't know. But it was one of those like cartoon films, and Over the Hedge, the trailer for it was always on it saying like coming soon, but I'd never watched it. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't as funny as I remember the trailer being. But it was still good. I did enjoy it. And also, obviously, like, I'm probably outside of the age demographic. Anyway, on to TV shows. We've got quite a few. First of all, I watched season 5 of Emily in Paris, which I enjoyed. The story is silly, but you don't watch it for the story. You watch it for the costumes and everything else. Then I watched Departure, season 3. I watched the first season, I think when I was in Greece, maybe? No, that's not true. That's when I watched Manifest. Well, anyway, a couple of years ago, whenever it came to Netflix, I presume. And then I watched the second season, I think a bit more recently, and now they've released the third season, so I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very good show, I think. Then third of all, Percy Jackson season 2. I became obsessed with Percy Jackson when I was, I don't know, like 11, 12 maybe a little older or younger, I can't remember, but I read all the books, and like I got to the point where I was up to date with new releases and things like that. And I did like the movies at the time, but I also acknowledged that you had to enjoy it standalone as opposed to as part of the books. So when they announced they were making the TV show, I was super excited. And yeah, they've now released season 2, and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for season 3 and everything else. And then finally, I think this one probably has been mentioned recently, but it's High Potential season 2 part 2. We are all caught up, but I have a feeling that they're being released weekly, and so there's probably going to be more episodes in this season. But I love it as a show. I really like those kinds of detective and how people think and solve things, those kinds of shows. So yeah, very much up my street as well. And this one's funny as well, whereas like Departure is definitely more serious, whereas this is, yeah, also a comedy. On to books now. I only have 3, which is definitely less than usual, but I was struggling this month, and I don't know why. I don't know where that, like... Actually, I do, now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, the first book of the month actually took me a while as well, even though I did enjoy it, which is A Time to Kill by John Grisham. It was very dark, but very good. There were some things about the language that I didn't enjoy reading. I understand why the choices were made, but I just don't like reading like that. But it was a very good book, very well written. Again, kind of got that detective element to it as well, and history, which I like. Although, like, it's crazy actually how recent it is. It's not really history. But yeah, I definitely did enjoy it, and I would recommend it to certain audiences. Then second of all, I read a non-fiction called Invisible Women by Caroline Criado Perez, which was very good. There was a lot in there that I did already know, but there was also a lot that I didn't know, and it was very interesting. However, I think it was written maybe in 2018 or 19, and I would really like to have read a more up-to-date version, because so much is changing, but then there are also things that haven't changed, and I just think that would be interesting to have, you know, the insight on that. But I did also really like it, and I've decided I'm going to copy Sam from the Dear Hopefuls channel, and I'm going to pick a book of the month for every month. And for this month, it was actually quite tight between A Time to Kill and Invisible Women. But I won't reveal which one I picked until the end of the year, so stay tuned. And then third and finally, this is the one that really held me up, I think. It's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This was actually a reread for me, but I know that the first time I read it, I couldn't really grasp it and I struggled with it. And so I was hoping to reread it now, you know, in a better mindset, in more of a motivated mindset. And again, I just got lost in it. And maybe I'm just not cut out for classics, because I've tried a couple of classics now, and I don't think there's been any that I can recall that I was really able to enjoy. The Count of Monte Cristo I could follow mostly, except like the conversations and the people and stuff. But plot-wise, I could definitely follow it. but I just didn't love it. So The Lighthouse I really struggled with. I don't know, I mean, like Little Women, I don't know if that's considered a classic in the same like age, but I loved that. So, and Secret Garden I loved. Black Beauty, like there's definitely classics I have enjoyed, but for some reason this one just goes over my head. I don't know, maybe it's because it's all about like love and romance and stuff, but I mean it's not, but I feel like there's so much I missed again, even on this second time reading it. So maybe we need to give it another like 5 or 10 years and try again. Anyway, moving on to shows, because I have quite a few, more than I was expecting for this month. So the first one is not something I saw in person. It is a filmed production of Merrily We Roll Along on Broadway. It was really hard to try and find a cinema where this was shown because it was very limited. But I ended up finding one and going, and it was so good. I love Sondheim. I love the music of, well, all of Sondheim's works, but especially Merrily We Roll Along. Not especially, but I just really like the music. And I have seen a filmed version before. I think it was released during COVID, and I struggled to follow it a little bit, whereas I felt like this time I could really follow it. I could really see the through line, and I just understood it so much better. And it was so high quality. It was so good. So yeah, would recommend. And then the next 3 are all ones I saw in London in the West End. The first one of those, actually maybe not West End, was Ballet Shoes in the National Theatre. And I kind of went into this not really knowing very much about it, but I'd heard good things and I got cheap tickets and a good seat, so I thought, let's try it. I really want to try this year to make more of a, I don't know, like a conscious effort of booking in tickets for shows that I maybe don't necessarily have an interest in, but if I can get cheap tickets. I don't want to be spending, £50 on a show I don't know anything about, but if I can get cheap tickets for something, I just want to go regardless of whether or not I'm interested. And that was the case with this one, and I really enjoyed it actually. It was really beautiful, very poignant and very nostalgic in a way, and just like very relatable, which is interesting. A really sweet, gorgeous show, I would say, really sweet. Then finally, after many, many years of trying to go see it, I finally went to see Six. I really enjoyed it. It was great. There's so much more I could say about it, but I think that's all I need to say. I have also vlogged the experience and I spoke about it a bit more in that vlog. I think that vlog only comes out in April, so stay subscribed, I guess. But yeah, really enjoyed it. And then finally, one that I wasn't really interested in seeing, but my friend wanted to go see, is The Devil Wears Prada. And I had a lot of fun in the first act. I didn't love the second act as much. And overall, it wasn't my favourite show. I enjoyed it. There were definitely things about it I really enjoyed. I loved the costumes and a lot of the cast were excellent. So there were definitely things to enjoy about it. It was a good overall experience. I'm really glad I saw it, but I wouldn't necessarily be desperate to see it again. But I haven't seen the film, so I also can't compare it to that. Then for food, I've got 2 items, not items. One like cafe or restaurant and 1 item. So the cafe, I'm going to call it, is called Knoop's. It's probably pronounced Noops, but my friend introduced me to it and called it Knoop's, and now I have to call it that. I had a hot chocolate there. I can't remember which one it was. It's very expensive, but a very nice treat, very tasty. And I am glad. I'm glad I've tried it. I don't know if I'd do it again, but it was a very nice treat. It was very tasty. And then secondly, I have been introduced, again by work, to a vegan sweet brand called Shades by Nico, and they do different flavours. And oh my goodness, I am obsessed. I only ever eat them at work. I've never bought them for myself. I've never even looked if they're in like my local shop or anything. But oh, they're so good. I've tried the strawberry packet, the sour packet, and the tropical packet, and I like all of them. So yeah, if you're looking for like nice chewy vegan sweets, I would recommend those highly. And then finally, I've got one other, which is I got a new phone case this month. Ta-da! It's definitely a bit louder. Oh, who's this by? It's by Headcase. I bought it off Amazon for a couple of pounds. Yeah, it's definitely more bright than I usually go for, but I do like it. I was hoping it would have a bit more of a lip over the front, which it doesn't. And like my other case that I had was clear, I don't know how to describe it, like a soft plastic kind of case. And so the grip was kind of better on it. Whereas now, if I hold it now, it's fine actually. But like it can feel a bit more slippery and like it's going to fall out of my hands. So it's not perfect. But again, it was a couple of pounds, and it'll do the trick for the time being. And I do like the way it looks, even though it's not very me. Well, I mean, I do like, you know, the sky and galaxy and stuff like that. So it's a little bit me. And then finally, I have a song of the month. I always like to pick a song that, I don't know, meant something to me in the month. And then at the end of the year, I like to have a look at the songs I picked and if they show up in my Spotify Wrapped, etc. This month I did really struggle to think of something, but I ended up going with Only Tea from The Great Gatsby. And that's just because I've listened to it a couple of times, and every time I listen to it, it does make me happy. I've never sought it out on Spotify, but every time it plays, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this song. So those are all my reviews for this month. Let me know if you've seen or read or experienced any of the things I've spoken about and how you feel about it. And also let me know some of your favourites of this month, favourite books maybe, or if you've seen any shows or movies or anything like that. And I will see you all very soon in another video.